heard about your. So they can see the guys that showed me the video. Was it our guys that did it? I think it was. What a mess.
That's what they made down Colorado from Essex Street to Route 80 overpass. They needed it. Why do you think the woman was killed a couple of years ago on Buzz? It's a wide street, and can you imagine somebody walking with a cane?
Yeah. Sounds weird. I got this.
Good evening, everybody. Madam Clerk?
This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act, NJSA 10:4-6 at sec, notice of which was sent to the record in the Star Ledger and was posted on the municipal bulletin.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg. Here. Deputy Mayor Canestrino. Here. Councilmember Pataglia.
Here.
Councilmember Carroll.
Here.
Mayor LaBrus.
Here. Everybody please rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. We do have some proclamations tonight. Actually, we have quite a few proclamations tonight. So, the first one is, and bear with me folks, because this is going to take a little time. Whereas May 20th, 2023 is the 13th Kids to Parks Day, organized and launched by the National Park Trust, held annually on the third Saturday of May. And whereas Kids to Parks Day empowers kids and encourages families to get outdoors and visit local parks, public lands, and waters. And whereas we should encourage children to lead a more active lifestyle to combat the issues of childhood obesity, diabetes, hypertension, and high cholesterol. And whereas Kids to Park Day will broaden children's appreciation for nature and the outdoors. And whereas Kids to Parks Day will recognize the importance of recreating responsibly while enjoying the benefits of the outdoors. Now therefore be it resolved that I, John P. LaBrus Jr., Mayor of the City of Hackensack, along with the members of this City Council, do hereby proclaim Kids to Parks Day. We urge residents of Hackensack to make time in May to take their children to a park. Okay, that's one. Whereas Child Care Aware of America and other organizations nationwide are recognizing child care providers on May 12, 2023. And whereas child care provides a safe, nurturing place for the enrichment and development of millions of children nationwide and is a vital force in our economy. And whereas the pandemic illuminated how indispensable child care providers are for the well-being and economic security of young children, families, and communities. And whereas New Jersey recognizes that child care has been a lifeline for families, communities, and the economy. And whereas our future depends on the quality of the early childhood experiences provided to young children today, support for high-quality child care represents a worthy commitment to our children's future. Now therefore, I, John P. LaBrus Jr., Mayor of the City of Hackensack, along with the members of the City Council, do hereby proclaim May 12, 2023 as Provider Appreciation Day in Hackensack, New Jersey, and urge all citizens to recognize child care providers for their important work. Okay. 2. The next proclamation is, whereas Alice Manning was born on May 8th, 1923, and whereas Alice is part of the second generation of Mannings to reside within Hackensack, and her family has grown to now have more than 4 generations living within the city. And whereas Alice's parents, Luther and Anna, owned and operated Manning Cleaners and Tailors, where she worked and assisted on the corner of Central Avenue and Railroad Avenue. And whereas after marrying, Alice moved to New York City with her husband of 40 years until his passing, and eventually made her way down to Florida. And whereas Alan ended up back in her hometown of Hackensack to live with her niece, Ranita Sissy Sharif, and is looking forward to celebrating her 100th birthday in the city she grew up in with her family and friends. Now therefore, be it resolved that I, John P. LaBrus Jr., Mayor of the City of Hackensack, along with the members of the City Council, do hereby rejoice and celebrate Alice M. Mannings on her 100th birthday and wish her all the best in this joyous occasion. So best of luck, Alice. It's a wonderful achievement. And last but not least, whereas teachers are vital in building the future through their dedicated efforts to ensure our children learn the knowledge and skills needed to be successful in higher education, careers, and life. And whereas teachers spend countless hours preparing lessons, evaluating progress, counseling and coaching students, and performing community service. And whereas teachers keep American democracy alive by laying the foundation for good citizenship and mold future citizens through guidance and education. And whereas our country's future depends on providing quality education to all students, and whereas the city of Hackensack recognizes and supports its teachers in educating the children of this community. Now therefore be it resolved that I, John P. LaCrosse Jr., Mayor of the city of Hackensack, along with the members of this council, do hereby proclaim May 8th through May 12th as Teacher Appreciation Week, and encourage all citizens of Hackensack to join in by personally expressing appreciation to all teachers at public, private, and home schools for their dedication and devotion to their work. So that is for proclamations. Okay. And with that, we're going to go to the approval of the minutes. So I need a motion to approve the minutes of the executive calendar regular meeting of April 25th, 2023. Need a motion?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg. Deputy Mayor Canestrino. Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Okay, with that, we'll move to the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. As of May 1st, our recycling collection has been revised to alternate week collection. Bottles and cans will be collected 1 week and cardboard and paper the next. Please refer to your hang tag or social media for additional information. The city will be hosting our annual Memorial Day ceremony on Monday, May 29th at Veterans Park at 10 a.m. Due to inclement weather, the Slam Junk event had to be rescheduled to June 10th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. The City Shred event is scheduled for Saturday, June 24th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Johnson Park. The Hackensack Police Department will be hosting our 22nd Annual Youth Academy from August 21st to August 25th. Please contact Hackensack PD for applications or refer to their website. The PBA will be hosting their second annual car show on June 11th at the Costco parking lot. Please refer to social media for registration information and details. That's all I have, Mayor. I will now turn it over to our CFO, Jim Mangan, for the presentation of the City of Hackensack's 2023 municipal budget.
Do you want to do the public hearing before that?
Thank you, Benny. Before I get started, Mayor, just wanted to say one thing, and it was happy anniversary. This is our 10th budget together. Me, you, Finance Committee, Deputy Mayor Canestrino, Councilman Pataglia. You'd think 10 budgets in, this would be easy. This one was a bear. But give me a second. Okay, so tonight we'll be doing the presentation of the 2023 budget, followed by the public hearing, and then later on, the business portion of the meeting, we'll be voting to adopt. We received our state approval of the budget yesterday morning, so everything is on track. Okay, budget presentation will be. There we go, sorry. As I've done in past years, the presentation tonight will start with the mission statement, since the budget is the financial plan on how we intend to achieve the mission, followed by an overview of the budget, and then we'll talk about the tax levy change and the projected tax bills. Okay, so we start with the mission statement. We've said this in the past. Okay, the mission of city government is to improve the life of Hackensack residents. And the way we improve the life of Hackensack residents, the quality of life, is by improving or increasing services to the residents without increasing taxes. Okay? That's our mission. Okay? We'll get into the budget on how we intend to carry out that mission. Okay? Budget always starts with a goal, and our goal is always to craft a budget that's accurate and achieves the policies that have achieved long-term tax stability. Okay. Two key components there. This first is accuracy. It's vital that the budget is accurate. It has to be real. And the second thing is the long-term tax stability. This goes back to the financial reform policies we put into place way back in 2015 that have stabilized taxes. There we go. Okay, the budget must provide the funding and plan for community improvements and infrastructure, redevelopment, and tax relief. Those are the three key components of the budget. Okay? And the reason for that is because if we're going to define quality of life as increasing service to the community without increasing taxes, what we need to do is improve our infrastructure, which attracts the redevelopment, which brings in the revenue that allows us to increase services and provide tax relief. That's how we achieve the quality of life. Perfect example of that is the sewer separation work that's going on right now in Clay Street. Okay, we wouldn't be able to do that project if it weren't for the extra revenue that's coming in because of redevelopment. The redevelopment wouldn't come in if we didn't invest in our infrastructure, and so it goes on. It's a continuous cycle. So it's very important that the budget always accounts for infrastructure improvements, community improvements, plans for redevelopment, and incorporates tax relief. Okay? Now, this year's budget, $121,823,952. I'm a CFO, I can tell you, that's a lot of money. That is a spending increase from last year of $5.8 million. Okay? And if that's an eye-opener, that was a huge eye-opener to me. That's a spending increase of 5%. A spending increase of that size really needs to be explained. Okay? And if we're looking at a $5.8 million spending increase, what's driving that increase? Well, first and foremost, our health benefits. Our health benefits went up $2.8 million from last year. That's you'll see later on, but it's a 14% increase. Now, roughly around July of last year is when we saw healthcare costs take off. You saw last year we did a number of budget transfers late in the year. You know, this wasn't unexpected. If we were in the state health benefits plan, which we're not, but the state health benefits plan this year is seeing a 23% increase in premiums. We're self-insured. We're looking at a 14% increase. All right, now 14% is very much better than 23%, but $2.8 million is a lot of money. And unfortunately, we have very little control over that number. Okay? We've done a number of things in the last 5 or 6 years to keep that number down. Okay, I won't get into them now, I've gotten into them in the past, but I really think that's the reason why we're looking at a 14% increase, whereas 3/4 of the municipalities in New Jersey that make up the state health benefits plan are looking at a 23% increase. The next item that's up is our employer pension bill, up $1.4 million from last year. Okay? If you remember, last year, pension was a $1 million increase over the year before. and that was an $800,000 increase over the year before that. Pension costs have really become an item that we're seeing every year, and this has to do with the fact that in 2021, the state changed the formula for calculating the municipal portion of the pension bill. Right around the same time that the state started reminding everybody that they're finally making their full pension payments that they hadn't been doing for 10 years. But what they don't say is that they're able to make the payments because they've raised the rates that municipalities pay. So those two items right there, make up about $4.2 million of a $5.8 million increase. The entire rest of the budget went up $1.6 million. That's all salaries, all department other expenses, which is the services we provide as grants, capital, debt service, everything. All of that is $1.6 million. Or said another way, if it weren't for the increase in health benefits and pensions, our total spending increase would have been just 1.3%. Okay? So for a second now, let's just go into some of the big ticket items, that make up the budget spending. First always is salaries. Single biggest item in the budget, $46 million. From last year, it's an increase of only 1.2%. Now that's a very, very modest increase in salaries, especially given the fact that this budget includes 2 more police officers than last year and 5 more firefighters than last year. Firefighter salaries being offset by the SAFER grant that we reported on a few months ago. But a 1.2 increase in salaries is really, really not bad. Department other expenses, this is the item in the budget that we have the most control over, and this is also the item in the budget that really correlates directly to our delivery of services, okay? When we say health benefits go up, that really doesn't benefit the community. Pensions really doesn't benefit the community. Department other expenses, that part of the budget that goes directly to the community. And the increase this year is a little under 3%. You see about 7.5 million, just under 3%. And this is also the area of the budget that has to deal with inflation the most. With a 7% inflation last year, an increase of less than 3% in other expenses is, in my opinion, a very reasonable increase. The point I'm trying to make is that the items that we can control, we have controlled. The items that we can't control, unfortunately, are out of control. Bringing up health benefits and insurance. Now you see the big spike all the way to the right from 2022 to 2023. That's the $2.8 million increase we're looking at. Our health benefits, which make up the largest part of this budget, up 14.6%. The other 2 pieces of this budget are workers' comp, which is actually down 7%, $109,000, and our general liability insurance, which is up $234,000. To be honest though, general liability insurance was down last year, and what I should have realized was that it wasn't so much that it was down, that 2021 was a good year, it's just that a lot of the costs shifted to 2022. Okay. But total insurance up 12.8%. That's the biggest driver in whatever tax increase we're going to have this year. The other one being pensions. Our pension bill is a little under $14 million. People don't realize it, that employees contribute, police and fire contribute 10% of their salary goes toward pension. Public employees contribute 7.5% toward their pension. What people don't know is that we, the city, have to contribute 35% of our police and fire salaries and 17% of our public employee salaries. That's our portion of the pension bill. And you see that since 2020, our pension bill has increased by over $3.2 million. That's only 2 budget cycles ago. Okay? Unfortunately, it looks like for me that these annual increases are now going to be the norm instead of the exception. And that's very unfortunate. So these are the big items that are driving the increase in spending. But in terms of the tax levy, okay, the increase in the tax levy is $1,674,000, which is a 1.9% increase over last year. Now, that means that despite a $5.8 million increase in spending, the taxes are only going to rise $1.6 million. And why is that? What makes the difference between the spending increase and the tax increase? Okay? Well, the tax levy increase of $1.6 million, and we saw a very, very good increase in our non-tax revenue. Okay? First up, pilot revenue is up $2.2 million over last year. I'll have a little more to say about pilots in a second. But in addition to that, our local revenue, which is permits, fees, licenses, that's up $823,000. State aid, which I can't believe I'm saying this, first time since 2010, state aid is up about $250,000. Okay? State aid had been frozen from 2010 until 2022. Okay? Our construction fees, which are separate from local revenue because the budget is different, that's up $310,000. And finally, the revenue side of our budget includes the new air rights agreement with the hospital, which is $400,000. Now let's just pause for a second here, and I just want to take the opportunity as somebody who firsthand witnessed it to let everybody know that the remarkable effort of Deputy Mayor Canestrino taking the lead in our negotiations with the hospital. We have a very good relationship with Hackensack University Medical Center, and the Hackensack University Medical Center, it is a key component of the city's finances. At the last meeting, we passed a resolution to renew the host community agreement, which is very, very significant. It's $4 million a year for another 6 years. Okay, that's 12 years, $4 million a year. That's $48 million that's come into the city's coffers. And if you remember in 2018, when we first signed that agreement, the question everybody was asking was, well, what are you going to do with $4 million a year? We made the promise then, we stuck with it, and we're keeping to that promise. Every dollar that comes in for that goes to the Hackensack residents in the form of tax relief. And that's the plan for the next 6 years. But I really want to say that because people have to understand just how tenacious the deputy mayor was in our negotiations. Now, $400,000, a new $400,000 air rights agreement, which is in addition to the $200,000 we're already getting. But a new $400,000 agreement would be something. Couple that with a new 6-year agreement at $4 million a year, that's really something. And if that were it, that would be significant. That's not it, okay? There's also a $40,000 agreement for parking. It's not in the budget because we don't have a signed agreement yet, but that doesn't mean the money's not coming in. You have the contribution from the hospital on our sewer separation effort from 2021, $2,269,000, I believe, okay? And that's not even the end of it, okay? Then you have the box culverts being installed along Railroad Avenue. And Kathy, I gotta say, tonight is the first meeting you didn't ask about the status of the box culverts, and that's because Chris isn't here, exactly. Right. But anyway,
that was also a good contribution.
that was an excellent contribution, you know? Deputy Mayor said at the time that we're separating our sewers. The development in the hospital is going to add to the sanitary waste. They should contribute to our sewer separation efforts, and they agreed. Yeah. Just want to say, as a CFO, Kathy, it makes my job very much easier trying to balance a budget and keeping a tax increase as low as possible. And then also, for me, as a Hackensack taxpayer, I get to thank you a second time.
Thanks.
Okay.
It's the support of the council, that I have. I know that I can go into these meetings and I know that everyone's on the same page. That, we're all working, we're appreciative of the hospital, but we also want a fair share for the city and its residents. And everything we do is a team effort, so I support it.
And it's actually, it's also a win-win, okay? Hospital benefits, the city benefits. As I said, very good relationship we have with Hackensack University Medical Center.
There was a lot of late nights for me.
Amen.
Okay, I mentioned before about pilot revenue. Pilot revenue, a little hard to see, is up to $4.4 million in the 2023 budget, okay? Now, since 2020, that means pilot revenue is up $4 million a year. The good news is that we haven't even come close to bottoming or flattening out on that yet. This budget includes pilots from 7 additional properties. As it stands right now, it's May, but for next year, we're looking for at least 5 more properties to come online. That number will probably increase between now and the end of the year. Okay? Increases in budget spending for services are always offset by increases in non-tax revenues, such as pilots, such as the new agreement with the hospital, and such as the revenue items I showed before, local revenue, construction, etc. So what is that doing to, So what is that doing to our municipal tax rate? Well, The bad news is that this is the first time since 2015 that our tax rate, the municipal tax rate, is going up. Last year was 1.27. We're projecting this year 1.3. So while it is an increase, not denying that it's an increase, it is still significantly lower than what the rate was in 2021, which is 1.5 million, and way lower than what the rate was in 2015, which was just under 1.7, okay? But the tax rate is going up this year for the first time again since 2015. Okay, so what does that mean for the average homeowner? Okay, well, the average home in Hackensack is assessed at $320,034. And a home with that assessment in 2022, their total tax bill was $8,967. That same home, with the increase in the municipal levy, with the increase in the school levy, because we know what that increase is, with an estimated increase on the county level, because I don't have that number yet, it looks like the average home in Hackensack, their tax bill will be $9,172. That's an increase to the average home of about approximately $204. Okay? I can tell you that I check budgets for other municipalities. I've looked around and I've checked 20 budgets for 20 municipalities in Bergen County in our area, and I've only found one that has less than a 1.9% increase, and that's Hillsdale. Can't figure out why, but okay. Now there we go. Okay. Now this is the graph where we talk about the change for the municipal levy. You know, this year the change is 1.9% increase. The dotted line represents, as I said earlier, 2015, when our financial reform policies kicked in, and when we did the first full reassess, the first citywide reassessment of properties. Okay, our policies, as you can see, have achieved tax stability. Okay, all the way down to 2021 when it was less than 1%. 2022 was kind of an anomaly. All right, I like to think of it as a market correction. When you go from a negative 1%, you can't go any further. You got to go up. But it looks like we're back on track with a 1.9% increase. And again, given the factors that we're dealing with in terms of inflation, in terms of increased health benefit costs and pensions, this is a budget that I am very proud of. Okay. Looking ahead, our challenge in 2023 is going to be to continue to deliver the services to the people of Hackensack amid increasing demands from the state in the form of pension payments, etc., and inflation. Those two events are just, my opinion, now the new cost of doing business. Okay? These are items that we have to expect are going to happen. What that means for us is that we must hold the line on spending and continue to grow our non-tax revenue. Okay? We had a good year last year. I'm looking, I'm projecting another good year this year. And like I said, it's our tax increase. I'm not belittling it. Okay, it is significantly less than other municipalities, but given the fact that it's made up of factors that are just completely beyond our control, I think it's entirely reasonable. Okay, that's our presentation. Before we go to the public hearing, first, any questions from the mayor and council?
Yeah.
I just want to thank you, Jim, for always explaining everything in layman's terms, because it's a lot of information, whether it's the budget or the corrective action plan. We really appreciate it. I know I do.
Sure, thank you.
Great job, Jim, you know, as usual, and thanks to Leo also, the finance committee, we all put our heads together, and Vinny, and, sitting there and scrutinizing and pushing back, multiple revisions to get it to where it is.
Yeah, the multiple revisions.
Multiple revisions, yeah, but we did it, and we're proud of it, and I agree, it's a great budget, and thanks again, Jeff.
Thank you, Gina. I've been working with you, Kathy, and the city manager for the last 10 years. And let me say, I can say that we hold the line, we will raise taxes in the last few years. We are doing a good job so far.
So far.
You know,
Great job.
As good as your last budget.
That's it.
Great job you and your team did. Fantastic job.
Thank you, Chair.
Great job considering the inflation that's going on in this country. It's 50-year high inflation rate that we're dealing with. You know, those products cost the city money, increases in money just like they cost us at home when we go grocery shopping or go buy anything. We experience that same pain. Plus coming off a pandemic the last few years, changed a lot of things in the city as far as financial and, you know, just the way we had to do things. Kudos also to the department heads for cutting back where they could to keep those items down, the expensive items, the expense of those items down. We appreciate that as well. Great job. I think it's much fairer than I thought it might have been when I saw what was going on coming into this year. But yeah, I think you did a great job. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you. Public hearing.
Okay, I'd like to, need a motion to open to the public?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg. Aye. Deputy Mayor Canestrino. Aye. Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Anybody from the public who'd like to speak to the budget, this year's budget, please come forward. Seeing no members from the public, motion to close.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg. Aye. Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Motion to adopt? Do we need to adopt?
That's
We
it.
have to wait for the
Okay, so it's just for the public hearing. All right. So with that, we'll start with new business.
No, we have a public hearing
Yeah, the hearing.
for,
Oh, for the dog park, yes. Go ahead, man. You want to go from here?
Albert first, then.
You know, we-
Mayor, Council, good evening again, Vinnie, thank you. Just to take a step back, just so everybody's just aware of what we're talking about, there's a property located on the northeast corner of River Street and Salem Street Extension. It's a vacant property, and there was a time when this council, I think about 2 months ago, indicated that they wanted the city to take a look at it to see if it would make an appropriate location for a dog park, or at least an extension of Fishing Park. So we undertook that due diligence, and we worked with our project management team to try to figure out from Green Acres whether or not they would be amenable to that as an open space, and whether or not we would be subject to something that's known as riparian rights, which is essentially paying the state for usage of that property, because at one point it was part of the Hackensack River. So without getting into a long dissertation on tidelands or riparian rights, I thought I would just mention that. Since that time, and I checked with the seller of the property 3 days ago, we've determined that there is another interested party who has that property under contract. So rather than, cancel the meeting, we decided to go forward with the open public meeting because it was advertised. But at this point, the consensus is that since it's under contract, it's a lost opportunity, at least there, but we will look for another location for a dog park, and hopefully be able to come back to this council and report. But just, I think for the sake of procedure, we felt like it made sense just to keep the public hearing available and open if anybody wanted to come and comment on this, or I guess dog parks in general. So I don't know if there are any questions.
So I'll make a motion need a motion to open the public. Second. Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg. Aye. Deputy Mayor Canestrino. Aye. Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Anybody who'd like to speak to the open space grant for dog park in the city of Hackensack, please come forward. Seeing no one from the public, motion to close.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg. Aye. Deputy Mayor Canestrino. Aye. Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Okay, is there anything else on this before we move on?
Oh, that was it.
I'm afraid that. Ready? You're up. Debbie, you're up. Yes, go.
Resolution 187-23 is a resolution for the for the final adoption of ordinance number 24-2023, a bond ordinance providing for the Green Street Combined Sewer Overflow Separation Project by and in the city of Hackensack and the county of Bergen, state of New Jersey, appropriating $40 million therefore and authorizing the issuance of $8 million in bonds or notes to finance the cost thereof. The ordinance has been published according to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Okay, need a motion to open to the public?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino. Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Anybody from the public who'd like to speak to this ordinance and this ordinance only, please come forward. Seeing no members of the public, motion to close.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino. Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Motion to adopt the ordinance, please.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino. Councilmember Pataglia. Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack County of Bergen and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 24-2023 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Resolution 188-23.
This is a resolution for the introduction of ordinance number 25-2023, an ordinance to amend chapter 170 of the Code of the City of Hackensack, vehicles and traffic, to add a new handicap parking space in section 49.2, parking for the handicap on Poplar Avenue.
Need a motion to introduce.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino. Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 25-2023 as introduced is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on May 23rd, 2023 at 8:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and at the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution 189-23.
This is a resolution for authorizing tax refunds to state board judgments.
Need a motion, please.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino. Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 190-23.
This is a resolution authorizing a veteran 100% tax exemption for 73 Elm Avenue.
Need a motion?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 191-23.
A resolution authorizing a tax appeal attorney to settle the cases on the attached list dated May 3rd, 2023, that were scheduled for trial or acquittal.
Need a motion, please.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino. Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 192-23.
A resolution authorizing the settlement of workers' compensation matter filed by Gregory Stewart pending in the New Jersey Division of Workers' Compensation, case number 2022-7111.
Need a motion, please.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino. Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 193-23.
A resolution authorizing approval of the 2021 audit directive plan.
Need a motion?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino. Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 194-23.
This is a resolution authorizing the awarding of contract to Athletic Field Care LLC for field maintenance.
Need a motion, please?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino. Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 195-23.
Resolution approving corrective action plan to review and address potential deficiencies in the city's policies and procedures regarding sick and vacation.
Need a motion?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution, that was 195?
Yes.
Resolution 196-23.
This is a resolution authorizing adoption of the 2023 municipal budget.
Need a motion, please.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 197-23.
This is a resolution for authorizing payment of bills.
Motion to pay the bills.
Offer.
Second.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
I abstain. Any conflict, we only have 3 items on the consent agenda tonight. Are there any conflicts here? Hearing none, motion to move forward? Or go ahead and move forward? All
The
right.
following items are considered to be routine in nature and will be enacted in one motion. Any items requiring expenditure are supported by a certification of availability of funds. Any item requiring a discussion will be removed from the consent agenda. And consent agenda items will be reflected in full in the minutes, including any exceptions and/or additions. Consent agenda consists of Resolution 198-23, resolution authorizing leave of absence without pay for Thomas Borgaro, plumbing inspector from May 1, 2023 to July 25th, 2023. Resolution 199-23 is a resolution awarding professional service agreement to Wisdom Borgi PC as special counsel for labor and employment. And Resolution 200-23 is a resolution authorizing raffle licenses.
Motion?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Okay, with that, we need a motion to open to the public.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Anybody from the public who'd like to speak, please come forward. You have the floor for 3 minutes. Please give your name to the clerk.
Rich Serbo, Spring Valley Ave. You know, you talk about inflation like it's somewhere else or on some other planet. You're driving it, okay? Inflation has to do with government spending. And Mr. Mangan just mentioned we spent $125 million just to run a community of 45,000 residents. That's outrageous. That's where inflation hits us, okay? And every one of these communities, plus the other levels of government spending, that's where inflation is dropped. That's where inflation is coming from. So don't look away as if, oh, well, inflation is eating us up, the grocery bill or whatever. Come on. So, okay, a couple of house cleaning things. Johnson Avenue, as you go around the turn there, behind that empty retail area where everybody vamoosed, that's for sure, that's empty. There used to be everything in there, a Quick Check, a school, there was a school in there, I forget what else was in there. It was a bank too, it was a bank. It's empty now. So behind there it needs to be tended to. There's garbage all over the place, okay? And it just doesn't look right, okay? It's one of those areas in Hackensack that's sort of forgotten, okay? It's behind the lot. It's on
I know
Johnson.
what you're talking about. That lot's been purchased within the last year or two, and we'll contact you to make sure.
Yeah, there's all kinds of, somebody has a city trash can back there too. It's loaded with cans and bottles. Another thing is, I've seen there's chickens that people raise in Hackensack. What is the rule on that? What actually is the ordinance on having
I
chickens?
can tell you because I have chickens.
Do
So
you have chickens? How many?
a maximum of 6. I have 3, so a maximum of 6, and they can only be hens. They can't be roosters.
Okay.
That's pretty much it. You know, you get a license every year.
So you can,
Roosters and 3 will probably
Yes,
become 6.
yes, and so no roosters, only hens.
right, so you need a license
Yes.
from the health department or something?
Yes, yeah,
And you can just have eggs in your yard.
once a
So
day.
6 is the limit.
6 is the limit and it can only be hens.
Okay, that's good to know. And of course, I mentioned Spring Valley Avenue already, and I do send emails to you guys, because I don't get any answers from anybody, so I send it there. I don't get any answers there either. The only answers I get are the wisecracks from Mr. Kleinman about what I say. So that's well.
Chickens, I wasn't talking about you.
No, I didn't say that. You're hearing things. But so thank you. That's enough. I've had enough.
Thank you. Next person from the public.
Gosh.
How are
Good
you?
evening.
Good
How is
evening.
everybody? Just wanted to ask about Sky Park again, because last we came and asked, it was supposed to be done the end of April, contacting the contractor, and if there are any penalties being imposed since the job is so far past the schedule.
Refer to our legal expert.
$1,400
Huh? Oh, could you just give your name to the clerk?
Oh, I'm sorry, Tracy Fonseca.
We knew that, but you.
Yeah, no, I understand.
I think right now, our biggest focus is on getting it done and getting it opened, and then at that point, we will be assessing our legal options in terms of where to go from there. But right now, the priority is to get it completed, and last I heard, they were moving as expeditiously as we could expect. I mean, I know obviously there were delays, but at this point, I think they've been put on notice that, we're at the point where we're considering our options, and hopefully that has moved them along to the point that this should be done fairly soon.
Right, no, it goes me first.
They first, they're past there.
They're getting it.
That's correct, the last I understood is that they were still,
Supposed to be $1,000 a day.
that's
$1,400 a day.
So are they going to be held accountable?
the point that I'm trying to make is, while they're finishing it, we're trying to get it done. If you're going to engage in legal action, that could delay it further. That's not our intention.
Understood.
The more important point is to get it done, and then at that point, we will consider what comes next, rather than in the middle of, getting 90% done, and then getting in the middle of a legal row. That doesn't solve the problem. The problem gets solved by the project getting finished, and then we'll look back and we'll look at any contractual remedies that we might have, and we'll make a determination as to how to proceed at that point.
Okay.
And my understanding is, I think by the next meeting, I believe it will be finished, if it's not.
And where they're going
They're
to go?
doing inspections.
I go there every day and nobody show up. The other day, there was
Beautiful weather and there's nobody doing anything.
nobody doing anything.
Is there a possibility of hiring another contractor and then deducting it from?
At this point, it's so far along though, I mean, as you said,
You'd have to-
the
you'd have to
last
go to
conversation I had with the engineer's not here, right? I don't think, is she?
No.
I can't see. But, the engineer would be the one. The last report that I had received is that we were really getting close, that there was activity taking place that needed to get done regularly. And just because I can't speak to who was there, who's not there, I'm not there on the ground.
I am
just
there
get
on
reports.
I am there close to
And we are
everyone.
getting close to the finish line, but the horse died.
But this,
Yeah,
But yes, there are certain legal options that are available, and once we, get to the point that, the project is at the point that it's done, it doesn't preclude us from pursuing those remedies, going forward. And I think our dissatisfaction with the contractor has been made clear to them in numerous ways. And again, I don't want to get into the
No,
nitty
that's
gritty of
fine.
it, so.
Thank you.
let me just say this real quick while you're up here. This is a perfect example of where government actually fails with the low bid process.
Oh, I understand.
You get these guys and you're like this, you get promises and this and that, and then you get yeah, they're the low bid, but then there's 50 change orders along the, during the process that you're paying more for in the long run than if you had hired somebody else and they stuck to their price. We would have been done a long time ago. So, yeah, we're not happy, Trace, believe me.
Yeah, no, I understood, I just wanted an update,
It's
so I appreciate it.
frustrating. I've used them as an example in the Carter Park process moving forward with, because the bids are out, this week, man?
Today.
Today.
Went out today.
Yeah, and it's scary because you're held to this low bid thing. And
Johnson Park too?
Johnson Park too, you go, we had trouble with the M&M building, it was a nightmare for us. Columbus Park, went as smooth as could be, they were done in no time. So, you're like, it's like rolling the dice every time you get one of these companies,
The only thing that the city manager is doing is recording all these problems, and that way that particular contractor don't bid again in any project that has to do with the city of Hackensack.
Can the contractor be blocked from bidding again for future projects?
Yeah, we pick, yeah.
There is a procedure that, under certain circumstances, can be used to put them on a list where, their performance is deemed unacceptable. But there's a legal process involved in that. You can't just say because you were dissatisfied, because the whole concept of this, at least the theory is that when you have the lowest bid process, you're going to get the most competition and you're going to get the best deal. Now, as the mayor said, it doesn't actually work that way necessarily in practice, but the state laws are pretty restrictive in terms of allowing for flexibility in these projects. And I've dealt with the M&M project, and then it becomes, a very complicated, scenario when you have a big project and you have a dispute with a contractor. And, so you figure out what's the best way forward, right? You don't want to get into a 3-year, legal battle. Look, it's good for me as a lawyer, to be in a legal battle for a year and spending, a lot of the city's money, but it's not the best thing necessarily for the city to engage in litigation unless you have other options. So, we had a situation where, we called in with a contractor, we negotiated a resolution. I think they paid us $20,000 for
the end building.
yeah, for that building, and we actually were able to negotiate a settlement because we said, look, you don't resolve this, we will go to court. And that would be the goal, to try and resolve the issue without, making matters worse and going into litigation. As I said, the goal is to get the project done, and then we'll see at that point what we can do to address the deficiencies in the contracting situation that happened here. And look, most times contractors, if they recognize that the client is dissatisfied, they have the right to rebid even if they're not formally barred from doing so. But, chances are, they're not going to want to do that because, why would you want to go someplace where, they don't want you?
Well, if they don't pay any penalties, there's nothing stopping them from doing it again if they know that they're gonna get their full paycheck and not have any consequences. So, that would be my,
Almost like, we got away with it before, we're gonna do it again. I agree.
the money's there, why not apply for it and try to get the job and make the money?
And that was supposed to be done about a year ago.
Right,
The only thing we can do is if that bidder shows up, we can actually retract and go out to bid again based on.
Yeah, there are different, there are various options, and again, I'm trying to be, because there's a possibility of legal action, I'm trying to be a little bit vague, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to
Fair
be
enough.
discussing a legal strategy and trying to speak a little bit in hypotheticals, because, as he said, I don't want to show our hand, I don't want us to say that we've prejudged anything at this point. All I can say is that there have been numerous discussions on it, and, we want to get this project done quickly. There are contractual terms that, we will pursue as we deem appropriate based upon, where things are going and where we're at.
thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Trace. Take care. Have a good night.
Thank you, you too.
I coached her sister down in the back there when she was 6 years old in T-ball.
Really?
Yes. Anyone else from the public like to speak? Sir?
Good evening, Council. My name is Sean Bolton. We met a month ago this time, actually, in regards to a ceremonial street name changing, Jamaica Organization, New Jersey. I've been talking to the city clerk and various people in regards to this, sending back and forth proposals. Just want to know any updates coming, any updates regarding this matter?
So there was discussion on that tonight in closed session, and I think we agreed location was Anderson and Union.
Okay,
Okay, and I think they were going with One Love.
One Love Way. Yeah, I like that.
Yep.
So is it voted on or situated?
Does that require the resolution?
Actually, ironically enough, this actually came up in Hoboken last week, where there was a debate whether the mayor had the right to unilaterally rename a park or needed a resolution, and no one could seem to agree. I would think it would be nice to have a resolution that the entire council would vote on, regardless of whether we could do it administratively. So if that's at all feasible, we could do a very nice resolution that could be provided to, for posterity's sake, to representatives of the organization.
For you guys anyway, so at next council meeting, it will be on the docket,
All right.
and it'll be voted on and approved, and you guys move forward picking up.
So the dates I provided was the 17th or the 24th. Did that mess up any schedule you guys may have? Or
17th of
June or the 24th? We're very flexible with the timing.
27th. 24th is a Monday?
It's a Saturday. 17th is Saturday, the 24th is a Saturday as well.
Will you guys do
Saturdays.
resolution?
I can only tell you Saturdays are tough because a lot of the council is gone on Saturdays.
Okay.
In the summer anyway.
We did one month before,
Oh, yes, it's John. Yeah, by village.
so we've got one somewhere.
And we have contact info
Yeah.
for the organization, so we can confirm we have
So
everything.
the 17th is a Saturday.
The 24th
Yeah, the
Saturday.
17th I have granddaughter's dance recital, so I'll be gone for the day because it's not around here.
Required attendance.
Yeah. So, would you guys consider like a Friday afternoon?
Friday afternoon?
Yeah.
Yes.
You do it like a Friday, like 4:30, 5 o'clock, something like that?
Yeah, that would be good. Just which Friday?
I just think you get better attendance on a Friday afternoon because people on Saturdays have commitments and their family commitments.
So the graduation is the 26th, I believe, right?
Graduation is the 27th.
27.
27th. All right.
So it would be either the 16th, the 23rd, or the 30th.
Well, keep in mind, Friday the 16th, at least in New Jersey, they're celebrating Juneteenth. They're celebrating federal Juneteenth on Monday.
So either the 23rd or the 30th would work best now.
And Hackensack is celebrating Juneteenth that Saturday.
Now, I'm not sure who does what, I just know the state government is closed for Juneteenth on the Friday, the federal government is closed for
Juneteenth is on
Juneteenth.
that Saturday, the 17th?
Right, we're celebrating, Hackensack is celebrating
That's
Saturday.
That's the day I'm not.
Sorry, Mayor.
Would Sunday be out the question? A Sunday?
Sunday's
Sunday's
Father's
Father's
Day.
Day.
No, not just a normal Sunday, non-holiday.
Weekends are tough in the holiday.
So I'm looking at Friday, Saturday, 29th, June the 30th. That's a Friday, June the
Yeah,
30th.
June the 30th works.
All right, June the 30th, that Friday. That seems to be a good time.
Yep.
All right.
That's the Friday before the 4th, just so you know, no one's, everybody's here.
I'm not sure for you.
Okay, so you've got 3,
I'll be here that Friday.
All right, that's good.
Friday the 30th.
All right, that sounds good. I really appreciate it.
In One Love Way as we speak.
One Love Way, that's it.
What are you thinking, like 5 o'clock,
Um,
4 o'clock, 5 o'clock?
I could, I'm gonna get back to the group and choose what time and
Right.
speak to the city
Talk to the
manager.
clerk and she'll set up the time.
All right, sounds good. Sounds good.
Right.
So from the city perspective, how is the process? Is posters gonna be put on that particular area? I sent you guys pictures.
Already there.
It goes on top of
The bottom.
the
Oh,
existing.
okay. So do we have to purchase it or
How did that work last time?
The seed
City bought it.
We bought it.
Jackie has the information from the last one.
We'll take it.
All right,
Just make sure you let Jackie know in the morning what the date is, so we make, because think we had,
You have to order it, right?
yeah, it has to be ordered, and I think it came in like 5 minutes before the ceremony will last.
Yeah, make sure,
Yeah, let's make
sure-
make sure it's
yeah,
gonna be in
Yeah, so we gotta make sure that we have
the
enough
supply chain
time.
today.
I mean, I
Yeah,
can't,
it's really bad.
I don't know how long it takes, and I don't
But
remember.
find
I
out
just
first
know
if
that-
You guys have Amazon Prime or something? You guys can.
No, because this has to be made. You know, it's not like sitting in stock, it's gotta be made. It wasn't made by
And
a
I
trophy
think
shop.
I think it was custom made by somebody that we normally use.
Is it like Merit or
That it
something?
was
Merit trophy?
Big, yeah. And this is around the time of all sports
Oh, yeah.
things that come through.
Graduation.
Double check and then check with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get a drop dead date of when it would be in, so we could make sure that it doesn't interfere with moving forward.
Yeah, because I think that's what the problem was, there was a lot of, it was sports time and trophies and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Councilman.
But also, you know, I would ask that you reach out to the Jamaican community,
All right.
get as many folks there as you can, so, you know, make a nice celebration out of it,
Sounds good.
all right?
Really appreciate it. Thank you.
You got it. Anyone else from the public like to speak? Rich, would you like to come up again? No? Going once, going twice?
No, thanks.
Motion closed.
Over.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Hi.
Mayor Canestrino. Councilmember Pataglia.
Alright.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Steph?
Sure. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming out. I just want to start by thanking Jim again for always working so hard with our finance committee as well, for explaining the budget to us. It's a lot of information, so I do appreciate when you go over everything so thoroughly. Thank you to Deputy Mayor Canestrino for her, I don't even know the word, the advocacy on behalf of the city and her perseverance with Teterboro and the flight path. It's never ending. That's one of the first things when I came on this council quite a while ago that was still going on, and I appreciate it. And it is a nuisance, you know, when you're outside and it's, I noticed on Sunday it's the worst. I don't know if anyone else notices it, but you have the airplanes overhead and you're trying to, you know, you can't even talk to somebody next to you in your own backyard. So I think this is important. We still have to, you know, keep on them and calling in because it's important to us and it's important to the city. Happy birthday to Miss Manning. 100 is a huge accomplishment. I don't think anyone was here for the proclamation though, correct? No.
No.
Sissy had called and said somebody was gonna try,
Okay.
but she wasn't 100% sure.
Okay.
They're all
She
signed.
she was glad that we could read it and
Okay.
she'll pick it up during the week.
Great, no, and just happy birthday to her, that's a huge deal nowadays. Another proclamation we had were our kids to Parks Day, and this just goes back to, you know, our discussion on STIVE and without getting too much into it, because like Steve said, you know, we would just wanna be careful, but no one's, you know, more frustrated than we are. This has been such, you know, a long path, and it's sad because you start out, you know, so excited and you're going over everything and, you know, this is gonna be great, and then you get to a point where you're just like, just get there, you know, and it turns from this great excitement, and Leo is very involved with the planning as well, to, you know, frustration. So we get it, you know, that's a neighborhood park that, you know, my kids frequent, and, you know, the council members up here, their grandkids frequent, and I know you guys, your kids, it's right around the corner for you, and I feel your frustration. I don't want you to ever think that we're just like, oh, you know, it's something that we're constantly, you know, frustrated with and talk about, and again, like our hands are tied and we wish there was another solution, but you know, we're just gonna keep going forward with, you know, getting this done and working on all our parks, because again, it is important for our city to have beautiful parks that our kids can play at and safe parks. So going along with that resolution, Kids to Park, it's just so important, because I don't know about your kids, but every time my kids are home, there are devices in their hand, and it's very frustrating. So to have them just get out and want to be outside is important, and we do that with having nice places for them to go. Teacher Appreciation Week, we have some retired teachers up here and teachers in the audience, and being a teacher is not easy nowadays. I was a former teacher, and I wish we could go back to when I was younger, and teaching was, you know, hands-on and not worrying about state testing and all the other, you know, red tape and just, you know, project-based learning. But it's so different now, and it's hard to, you know, find those teachers that really want to engage students and you know, think outside the box, because it's so much, you know, things that they have to worry about that they shouldn't. So thank you to our teachers out there. And last meeting, we recognized our clerks, and I failed to thank them, but I just want to thank you guys because you guys are wonderful and you do so much for us. So thanks again. That's it for me, everyone. Have a good night. Thank you.
Thanks, Deb. Yeah, we had a number of proclamations today, and not to go over all of them, of course, happy 100th birthday to everyone. But again, have to give kudos to the teachers, and, you know, it's such an investment in our children's lives, and they are so important in the development of our children and their early lives is critical to their future success. So again, can't thank them enough, and we have wonderful teachers here in Hackensack, and again, worth recognizing. A couple of things on the agenda. We adopted the ordinance, the bond ordinance for $40 million. I talked quite a bit about this at the last meeting. But just again, we have a $32 million grant, of which the city will be adding another additional $8 million. And similar to the sewer work that we're doing in the Clay Street area, we'll now be moving into our second most challenging part of the city, which is the Green Street area, and doing similar things. You know, sewer separation, looking to prevent flooding and stormwater overflows, potentially, you know, looking to add another outfall into the river to get water away from Essex Street, River Street where it floods. So another step, you know, in the right direction to get the infrastructure in the city where it really should be. Jim, wonderful job on the budget and the presentation. You know, again, kudos to everyone in the city to have an increase of only $1.6 million in our budget for all of the salaries, all of the expenditures, the things we have to outlay. And yeah, I heard you, Mr. Serbo, but you know, there's so many things that compromise and are complementary to 7% inflationary increase this year. I don't think it's fair to blame it on city government. I think that we have wonderful employees who worked very hard to control the spending and to control the cost this year, and I think as a council we're very appreciative of that. And of course Jim's efforts to be able to put this all together in a way that makes sense for us as a city. Bringing in the revenue is critical. And we've said this the whole 10 years that we've sat up here. You know, we said that, one of the biggest problems we had in Hackensack is, we were what we called it the unclaimed jewel. There was so many ways that we could bring more money into the city. We're not using it to its fullest potential. And we're seeing that now. We're seeing it in our downtown. We're seeing, the money has grown to now $4.5 million, Jim reported this year in pilot monies. Plus a lot of the fees that we talked about is increasing too, are construction fees and development fees. The building that's going on is also contributing to that revenue that's coming into the city. And a lot of partnerships that the city has developed over the last 10 years that we folks have been in office, both, on a personal level for me and, for the city in general. We're partners with the developers, we're partners in redevelopment. Pilot is a percentage of their revenue. The more successful they are, the more successful we are. We share in that success. And the same thing with Hackensack University Medical Center. They're growing, they're a huge employer in the county, almost the largest in the state. They employ 8,000 to 9,000 people. And that's bringing folks into our city, spending money in our city, patronizing our businesses, and providing jobs. They do a lot, they bring a lot to the city of Hackensack as well. And shows their commitment and their appreciation to the city by contributing to the services that we provide. And in addition to this $4 million that we just negotiated, they also pay a considerable amount of tax money on their taxable property as well. So we have focused as a council on building partnerships that we can grow together and bring this revenue in so that instead of seeing a $5.8 million hit to the bottom line and hit to the taxpayers, we're seeing a 1.67 million. So we reduced that, and the only way we could reduce that is by bringing more money in. So we're going to continue. That was part of our vision in 10 years ago, John. We talked about this extensively, and we're following steadfast in maintaining that. I won't talk a lot about the airport meeting. You could watch it on the committee of the whole. I gave a nice briefing, I think, on the last board meeting. You're seeing it steady at night. Folks that know about the alternate path, they're using it about 30% at night, but really not much in the day. So that's our focus, to continue to pursue more use in the daytime. Thanks, everybody, for coming. Enjoy the rest of your evening, what's left of it. It looks like summer's here, the rain is over, so let's get out and enjoy the sunny days and hopefully have a nice rest of the week. Thank you.
First of all, my prayer, my condolence, and my heart with the people in Texas, 8 people got killed. Then the following day, another 7 or 8 got killed. I don't know what is wrong with people. Thank Jim for presentation. You're always doing a good job. Mrs. Manning, congratulations, happy birthday. It's not easy to reach 100 years like Kathy's mom. I got my hand, it's 100, I got another one, 105, 107. So it's not easy to reach out. We finished paving Hopper, Ames, Kent, and Port. And we're gonna do the paving in Summer Avenue maybe in the month of June. And we continue with, the moment that we finish the separation, we're gonna pave Union, Clay Street, and a few other streets that right now we have to wait by the time we finish the job. We're now for bids for Carver Park, for Shinny Park, Johnson Park, and when the people complain about that the project sometimes takes so long, like Kathy and John, they know that I've been trying to build that dome from 2009. So that is, I hope so get done before I go. The problem with the speeding, if somebody has got a better solution compared to the table bumps, bring it to me. I've been watching, I live only a block and a half from Spring Valley, and I see the buses, cars, and many police officers in Spring Valley, they give a ticket to the people, and nothing happened. They continue doing so. So we have to be proactive, and the only way to slow down, not only in Spring Valley, but you got Fairmont, Rose, Euclid, including Catalpa, Davis, that the people are flying there. So we need, we already discussed that, look into the table bumps. We're gonna start with Spring Valley first, where we keep Richie happy. And let's see what we're gonna do. Thank you for coming. Good night.
Okay, well, Jim, thank you again for your report. And again, happy birthday to Mrs. Manny. I hope you have many more. As a retired educator, I wish all teachers a great week during this appreciation week for them. Also want to mention about Juneteenth. Hackensack will be holding a celebration on the 17th of June, and hopefully we get a large turnout. As for the parks and the recreation, as has been mentioned, that we're going out to bid, and hopefully we will get these parks up and going in a proper direction and get these things taken care of as soon as possible. Thank everyone for showing up, and enjoy and get home safely.
Thank you, guys. So kudos, Jim. I thought it was a great budget. Kathy, Leo, Vinny, great teamwork on getting this done with Jim. Appreciate it. Quick question, Vinny. Summer concerts, is the schedule out? Do you know if it's out?
I think, yeah.
Does that look like we're getting sick?
We just finalized it either today.
All right, so,
We got it already.
They'll just put out an email.
Yeah.
okay, good. So the summer concert series is set for this year, so if you go on hackensack.org, you'll be able to see it, along with there's 6 concerts this year on the green. There's at least 4 or 5 concerts, I believe, at the Hack Pack in the park, and 4 movies under the stars. So there's a lot of stuff going on this year. Plus there'll be Shakespeare Under the Stars. They do the yoga outside. It's great utilization of our parks. July 4th this year, Gucci fireworks again. We had them last year. They did an outstanding job. It's one of the best fireworks shows I've ever been to. Looking forward to that. Miss Manny, congratulations on 100 years. That's an awesome thing. And going back to the 4th of July, I believe we're going to have a beer garden this year. We're working on that. So there'll be a beer garden in Fashini Park. Should be a good night. No children will be allowed in the beer garden, just like what we have it at the Atlantic Street Park. being married to an educator who was an educator for over 20 years. You know, I want to congratulate all the teachers. I saw firsthand what teachers had to go through during COVID, trying to teach from home, remotely, and what they had to deal with, and how hard it was. My wife, I can say, actually worked about 16 hours a day teaching during COVID. That's how hard it was for them to get the job done. So kudos to them for what they do, and you know, they're in control of our future. So I want to get prayers out for our retired zoning officer, Al Borelli. All right, he's recovering in Hackensack University Medical Center from an illness, and we wish him well. We hope he's home soon. And with that, just a quick math quiz for Mr. Mangan. So the average inflation rate, or the inflation rate sitting about 7% for the last year, correct? It was like a 40 to 45-year high, correct? The city budget at a 7% increase. What do you think the average increase on the average home, which you said was $200 a year, what do you think it would be?
It's gotta be well over 1,000.
Well over $1,000. So my point being, when I brought inflation into it, was we held the line on things when we could have easily said, and I'm sure a lot of CFOs did say, you know what, I can get away with like 5% because the rest of the country is sitting at 7%, and still say, I did a good job. Well, you got it down to like 2%, under 2%, correct? And, you know, and the norm around the country was 7% inflation. So kudos to you. I thought it was a great job, and I'd rather pay the 200 than 1,000, over 1,000 any day. So, all right. So with that, everybody get home safe. Thanks for coming. See you in a couple weeks. Motion to close. Thank you.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Rogers? Deputy Mayor Canestrino? Councilmember Pataglia?
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll?
All right.